Hi everyone, it's Sid from Cool Movie Gram, your source for everything about cool film. Now, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, check out my other videos, like my videos, comment, leave your thoughts. And those of you who've already done that, thank you very much and welcome back to the channel. Yeah, it's been a while. I know I've just been setting up like a new kind of, got this bookcase and put it together so I can actually put my Blu-rays and everything on display. And yeah, and as you can see, I've kind of like I thought this is where my videos are going to be, kind of like this is where they're going to be shot right now. And yeah, this of course just to kind of like make a change of scene, and I think it would be a lot better, and plus it's a bit more convenient that way. Anyways, yeah, today is it's going to be an A.C.C collaboration video, which many of us for the celebration of founding brother Leon from Hong Kong and Beyond, HKB. It's his birthday. Happy birthday. At the time of this is well in advance, and so happy birthday in advance. Hope you have a great day. And we are actually doing many of us in the Asian Cinema Circle, which is a collective of various different YouTubers, that's small YouTubers you could say, who are actually doing a kind of like do collaborations and be part of like a circle who love Asian cinema, of course. And yeah, there's a bunch of them, and there's going to be a link for all of them, including people like Martial Arts Film Freak, Kalebs Kung Fu Cinema, Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society, Hong Kong and Beyond, and so many others. Like you got A Touch of Film, and I think there's Martial Arts Theatre 3000, and there's so many of us. I mean, it has grown with new members, like we've got G Straits, or but we've got Gareth, and we've got Celine, who's like, of course, our one of our newer members, and Defiant Films, and many others who have actually kind of like come on board. And it's quite exciting that this kind of whole collective is growing. And yeah, so, and in celebration of Leon's birthday, we are actually doing top 5 favorite Sammo Hung fight scenes. Now, of course, this is just something that I kind of like went through, and I thought, why not put together a compilation? I mean, bearing in mind my top 5 always changes, because I mean, Sammo Hung, again, the older peaking opera brother of Jackie Chan and Yuen Biao, who's like a actor, who's been a stuntman, a fight choreographer, director, stunt coordinator, and you know, he's done so many great fight scenes, and he's directed probably some of the greatest films that are in the kung fu genre and Hong Kong action cinema in general. He's considered as one of the absolute legends of the genre. He is like pretty much seen as the biggest of all big brothers, because Jackie Chan is seen as a big brother. However, Sammo is seen as the biggest of all big brothers. That's pretty much the respect that he's been given over the years. And yeah, well, let's just anyways, let's just get on with this, and definitely look forward to diving into this with you. Number 5 in on my list of fight scenes with Sammo is Sammo Hung versus Yuen Biao in Millionaires Express. Now, of course, it's a 1986 film which was directed by Sammo Hung as well, and in this film, of course, Sammo Hung is he's kind of like a criminal on the run who's kind of like running around scamming people, comes back to his hometown, but the newly appointed police chief, who was once the fire chief, is played by Yuen Biao, is not too happy with the return of Sammo Hung's character, and wants him to go away and stop causing trouble, as he tries to kind of like stop a train by blowing up the tracks. so that people would actually, a train called the Millionaires Express, which is stopping, which is coming through. So he wants people to come over and actually spend their money and bring wealth to the poor town that he's in. But of course, Yunbu doesn't like this idea, so they just get into this kind of this great scuffle. It just starts off. It's not a very long fight sequence, but I mean there are some other great fight sequence scenes in the film itself as well. So it's just a lot of fun. It's a very funny movie, but this fight scene, I just loved it because you could kind of see that these guys are just going at it. They pull no punches, and they're kind of like testing each other's strengths out, and also kind of like just trying to kind of one up each other. And a lot of it does kind of like it kind of resonates back to their childhood, because bearing in mind that Sammo Hung and Yunbu had all grown up together, along with Jackie Chan and many others like Yun Hua, Yun Bun, Yun Kwai, aka Corey Yun, and Yun Bun, and a host of others. And but this time round, it was like just these two. It's not like kind of like a big grand fight scene, but it's just the choreography was really good. It was a good use of setting. The music was done, the cinematography and the way that the fight was shot was really good, and it's just so impactful. It just kind of like just entrances you. And I thought for a short fight scene, this was just pretty much, it was creme de la creme. I mean, as much as I loved the fight scenes that Sammo had with with Cynthia Rothrock, and even towards the ending, like the fight scenes in even Yunbu's fight scenes were great. But for me, I just always had like a soft spot for this one, which I thought was absolutely like just a slap bang fantastic. And just so glad that this film is available on Blu-ray as well, I've watched it quite a few times since. Number 4 is Sammo Hung versus Lee Hoi-sang from The Magnificent Butcher, which is a 1979 film directed by Yuen Woo-ping. The finale, because the best fight scene in the movie by far is Yunbu versus Lam Ching-ying, which was done at the Po Chi Lam setting, when Lee Hoi-sang's and his underlings decide to ambush and attack Po Chi Lam at night. And that fight scene is just, I've talked about that before on this channel. It's an absolute delight to watch. But this ending, Sammo Hung, is pretty much, this is one of my top 5 kung fu movies of all time, and the end fight scene is pretty much Sammo Hung's show, and it's kind of harks back to the fight finale of Drunken Master, where Jackie Chan is actually kind of asking for Yun Siu-tian's beggar soul for help and giving him tips on how to fight against Wang Zhongli. However, this time round, because Fan Mei-sheng had actually replaced Yun Siu-tian, who passed away during production, so they had to reshoot a lot of the film. He plays Beggar Soul, and he's kind of like giving tips on how to beat the 5 element style that Lee Hoi-sang's character is using against Sammo Hung, and he kind of uses the different styles of the Hong Kun style, which is the Hong Ga Hong Kun fist. And what you see is just some really great acrobatics from Sammo Hung, some really good shapes, and just some like really cool choreography with just a great touch of like comedic timing, which I thought was funny, and it's just really entertaining. Again, because you see the camera just pulls back, and there's these long takes like they used to do in these old school films, where you see, for example, Sammo Hung kind of just doing some flips and like just kind of like what he calls the sky dragon, when he's using this dragon fin, and he just does these flips, and it's just absolutely wow, just amazing. The fact that they didn't kind of put together too many different shots. It was all done in like one long shot. You get to see kind of like just the kind of the agility for someone as burly built as Sammo Hung had, especially during the 70s and 80s. And if you just kind of marvel at that. And and it's just like the way that each hit is timed. It's got this kind of staccato, this rhythm, and it just kind of brings it just gets you fixated on what's going to happen, and it's just again, because these fight scenes in the film were both choreographed by both Sammo Hung and Yoon Woo-ping, who was the director of the film, and it just kind of works so well. I mean, I'm just surprised that Sammo and Yoon Woo-ping did not direct any more movies starring Sammo Hung, because I thought the both of them worked really well, and would love to have seen more of these guys. And I know, but again, this is, you know, one of those penultimate movies, and it's just, for me, it's like a top 5 favorite kung fu movie. And in terms of like when it comes to the choreography, is just on point, and it's just perfect. Number 3 is Sammo Hung versus Lau Kar-wing in Lau Kar-wing's directed Skinny Tiger, Fatty Dragon. Again, this is like a very comedic kind of like buddy cop movie in the vein of Lethal Weapon, or even in 1987's Tiger on the Beat, which was directed by Lau Kar-wing's brother, the late legendary Lau Kar-leung. And yeah, I mean, you got Sammo Hung in his kind of like Bruce Lee mode. He's kind of like a Bruce Lee obsessed cop who kind of fights like him. You know, throughout the ending, you're gonna get to see him kind of like use nunchucks and, you know, using the pole weapons and everything. And his fight, especially when Lau Kar-wing, who's playing like the big bad drug dealer, drug lord, who gets involved in the fight. And instead of being like a typical boss who just kind of like you know, runs away or tries to cower, he kind of puts up a really good fight, and you can just kind of see the kind of chaos and just the kind of full impact of the hits. The choreography again is on point, and you know, Sammo Hung just kind of, again, with comic timing and even like just perfect kind of like just movements, and even just his kind of like you know, imitation of Bruce Lee style, with he's got the kind of the Bruce Lee yells and all that, yeah, and just his timing and the fact that he was just moving at such great speed and like time, and you know, even just kind of like the coordination of the fight, where the camera moves around, and it just looks like a painful, a really painful kind of exchange, but at the same time, this is just amazing brilliance. I mean, the film was kind of hit and miss, but I just liked it for the silliness of the movie. I thought it's a funny movie. But you know, if it is one of those where, you know, you might not be too keen on the actual film itself, but when it comes to this kind of the fight scenes in this film, the fight action is just absolutely live. The comedy is not everyone's taste, but the fight choreography, especially in this end exchange between Sammo and the heavy played by director Lau Kar-wing, it's too good to miss. Number 2 is Sammo Hung versus Lau Kar-leung, the brother of Lau Kar-leung, of course. This time around, the only exchange they've ever had, which was in 1989's Pedicab Driver, which was also directed by Sammo Hung. You know, again, this is one of those most sought after classics, hoping for a great Blu-ray release. I know Criterion's actually put it up on their channel to be streamed, but I'm just hoping that there's a great new 4K or HD, like 2K, whatever restoration that we can probably get on Blu-ray finally would be great. I know it's been stuck in the whole Warner Brothers archive, but we don't know whether it is going to get, maybe not. I've been hearing that they're going to be also releasing Spooky Encounters 2, or Encounters of the Spooky Kind, as it's part 2 as it's known, because that was also stuck with Warner Brothers. But yeah, I mean, this fight itself, of course, Lau Kar-leung playing like a kind of a triad boss that runs a casino, but then of course he wants to kind of, it's almost like a friendly kind of bout, but then of course both men underestimating one another. But then, you know, you got great kind of, again, great comic timing from Sammo Hung, and even Lau Kar-leung at the same time has great, but then you just see a great array of skills, whether it's hand to hand or even pole fighting, and it's just, you just get to see two legends, because Lau Kar-leung himself is kind of like known as like the master when it comes to kung fu choreography. He's known since his days at the Shaw Brothers. He's kind of been known as like the top dog when it comes to like, you know, the top kind of like the highest level a fight choreographer can be, just because of the legendary resume that he has. You know, kind of classics like 36 Chamber of Shaolin, Heroes of the East, Legendary Weapons of China, 8 Diagram Pole Fighter. You know, it's just a martial club. He's just done so many great classic kung fu movies as a director, and you know, he's like a an actual direct descendant of Wong Fei Hung's kind of like lineage of kung fu, because his father had actually studied under Lam Sai Wing, which is the character that just Sammo Hung played in Magnificent Butcher. But then this exchange itself is just so kind of like well timed. It's epic at the same time, kind of small scale. I mean, the film itself is, again, loads of great fights, especially the ending was really good. But this kind of exchange between these two legends, it's just kind of like, it's a monumental experience. And just to be able to see how both of them play off one another, both of them have their strengths and even kind of like their shortcomings and all, but then it's just done for laughs, and everything is just done so perfectly well.
Who you pushing around? I'll do what I like. Now it's fists, huh? And why not? I can take care of you anytime.
Before we get to the number 1 spot, we will have some honorable mentions. Now, of course, honorable mentions are Sammo Hung versus Jackie Chan versus Yuen Biao in Dragons Forever. Of course, they have 2 exchanges, but this is the second one in the outside the house by the car park, and where you see all 3 of them just kind of like turning on one another, and just the comedic confusion, and also just the 3 of them going at it, and just literally kind of like just wailing at one another. Don't know how. One part where Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung both kind of like start almost using the same kind of same style, same stances and everything, and they both get tripped over, or you know, as 2 are fighting, Jackie Chan just jumps on top of both of them just to kind of like drag them down, tripping up each other. And just, I mean, considering that they were pretty much childhood friends and buddies, I could imagine maybe the fight probably went along, when they did fight as kids, probably went through something similar. The end fight of Pantyhose Hero from 1990. Of course, this is Sammo Hung's kind of like comedic, tongue-in-cheek take of William Friedkin's Cruising, which was with Al Pacino, where a crazy serial killer is attacking homosexuals. And the end, but yeah, I mean, it is a bit kind of like bad in taste maybe to people of that community, but the fight scene at the end, the fight scenes are actually pretty brutal in this, and especially the ending, where you see kind of like, you know, in kind of like a construction site, and Sammo Hung just kind of like just displaying how kind of like his action is just still hard hitting. And even though this is one of his first films that he did like pretty much after departing from Golden Harvest, and we had a falling out with Raymond Chow, and but definitely still show that he can still deliver hard-hitting action. The last of my honorable mentions is Sammo Hung versus Lee Hoi Sang and Lung Ka-yan in Enter the Fat Dragon. Of course, this was the first film where you see Sammo Hung kind of like play like a farmer who's obsessed with Bruce Lee, comes to the big city and kind of ends up getting involved in a gang that is extorting poor people for protection money, and Sammo Hung is just kind of like someone who practices martial arts every day, but at the same time he's a big Bruce Lee fan. But then he goes up against Lung Ka-yan at the end, as well as Lee Hoi Sang is he's in pretty much with an afro and kind of like skin, kind of like doing blackface and minstrel style. It's funny, it's absurd, but at the same time, just to see Sammo Hung do that whole kind of Bruce Lee kind of style, paying tribute to the late legend, it's just so much fun to watch. And you know, it just shows that he can make this a great movie. You know, he can make it a great movie just by kind of like adding his own style to it as well, and also paying homage to Bruce Lee. Number 1, my favorite Sammo Hung fight scene is Sammo Hung versus Yunhua in Eastern Condors from 1987. And this is probably my favorite of Sammo Hung's movies. Overall, and of course, where you see Yunhua playing this really kind of very odd, very kind of like unique, peculiar kind of Viet Cong officer who's kind of got this very odd kind of like way of kind of these odd mannerisms, and it's just kind of like, he looks harmless, but at the same time he's got this really great skill. And Sammo Hung, who had actually slimmed down for quite a bit for this role to be able to perform some of the actual fight sequences himself and do a lot more of the difficult choreography. So he had actually trimmed down quite a fair bit in this film in comparison to his normal build, but he's still quite clubby, but at that same time he's still very agile, kind of do these flips and kicks and everything. And again, it's just very kind of like full on. It just looks almost like they were really hitting each other. And it's just, even with Yunhua having this very comedic kind of approach towards his kind of negative character, but it's just kind of like, it's a bit outlandish and out there, but it's still, for me, it's like this fight scene, it's just kind of captures just the greatness of Yunhua and even Sammo Hung, and just showing how impactful their choreography is. Well, that was my top 5 favorite Sammo Hung fight scenes for at the moment, but there's so many that I've missed out, so many more that I wanted to add, but then I just had to kind of narrow it down. But this is it. It was only 5 and with 3 honorable mentions max, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, I guess I'll see you on my next video. Thank you for watching and take care.